Hey, Mike here from Showboys. We're excited to bring you Showboys Gaming, a YouTube channel created for you to enjoy our exclusive gaming content. Anything from live streams to gaming videos will be found here. Go subscribe now so you don't miss out on any Showboys gaming content.
Hi, I'm Becca.
And I'm Mike.
And we're the Courtneys.
We're the hosts of a new marriage and relationship centered podcast called Couple Conversations. We're not here to give marriage or relationship advice, but instead we're just going to have some honest and thought-provoking conversations about our relationship.
After 10 years of marriage and the chaos of parenting, business ownership, and being content creators, we thought it was important to focus on dating each other and keep the spark alive in our marriage, so when we're old and wrinkly, we still enjoy each other's company.
Each week we'll be going through a series of questions to have honest conversations about our relationship, as well as occasionally be joined by other couples to hear their stories and advice. We just want to share the things that we've learned along our journey and remind you all to continue to date your spouse.
So join us every other Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, beginning October 8th, and join the conversation.
Hey, Nick from Showboys here, and I want to invite you to become a member of the Showboys Discord. Our Discord is the one-stop shop for all things Showboys, from announcements to fun conversations, and of course, memes. Come get to know the Showboys staff and our growing community of pop culture fanatics. We have something for just about anyone.
Hey, Mike from Showboys here, and I wanted to let you know about the Showboys merch shop. Go check out our classic collection featuring our classic Showboys logo. You'll find a variety of products ranging from phone cases to tumblers and coffee mugs, and of course, t-shirts and hoodies. Head over to linktr.ee/showboyspodcast for the link to the shop. So what are you waiting for? Head over to the Showboys merch shop, help support the podcast, and grab yourself some Showboys swag.
Hi, my name is Siv, and I'm a proud partner of the Showboys stream team. I'm what you call a variety streamer. What that means is I play a bunch of different styles of games, from platformers and shooters to fighters and survival horror. We rarely play the same games twice, and it's normally a game I don't know anything about. What this means for you is fresh and interesting content, live on the regular. And if you're the kind of person who prefers to watch at their leisure, we have a YouTube channel where we upload content daily. I mean, with so many options, why haven't you joined the civilization yet?
What's up, guys? Chad from Showboys. Just wanted to remind you that we have officially launched our Patreon. Head over to Patreon and check out the exclusive content offered for each tier. From the ability to recommend a topic for the show, exclusive Patreon-only episodes, the chance to appear on an episode as a guest, and much more. With tiers starting at only $1 a month, you can help support our growing community and help us continue to bring our amazing content directly to your lovely little ears.
Hello, welcome to Showboys. My name's Mike, and I'm joined here with my fellow co-hosts, Nick and Jordan. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Fantastic.
Oh no, Jordan, I can barely hear you.
Oh no.
Bump it up.
Well, at least you don't sound like Alvin. That's better. That usually happens. But we are also joined by the one and only Alex Kister, the creator of the Mandela Catalogue. Thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we have a lot of people in the comments saying hello. Like a lot of people saying hi to Alex. So hi. Hi from everyone. But yeah, before we get into the episode here, just wanted to shout out our top tier patrons, Tim, B, and Yusuf H. Thank you guys so much for being patrons. Your support means the world to us. And if you're interested in checking out our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/showboyspodcast. We have 4 different tiers starting as low as $1 a month. And yeah, tons of perks and rewards. Go check it out and sign up today if you are interested. Yeah, we got Alex here with us tonight to talk about the new analog horror series on YouTube called the Mandela Catalogue. I'm super excited. Analog horror is a big enjoyment of mine. We've had an episode solely dedicated to analog horror early on in the Showboys life, and I'm excited to kind of pick your brain about what got you into creating content and the analog horror genre in general. But yeah, just want to start out. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Jordan, can you try talking again?
A test. 1, 2, 3.
That's pretty rough still. But yes, we've all caught up on the entire series, correct? Nick and Jordan, you guys have.
Yes, sir.
Of course, because we are prepared here at Showboys and we do our research, which we don't.
I'll just say that episode 6 that we did on analog horror like over a year ago now. I knew nothing about analog horror at the time, and now I kind of realize I know a lot more than most people because it is such a niche genre here.
Yeah.
So while Mike used to be the expert here, I feel like I know quite a bit these days, but definitely not as much as Mike might. And I'm sure you know quite a bit about it too. And I think Jordan's pretty new to the subject.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, excellent. So it was amazing. It saw 2 versions of the mic, and they're both named literally the same thing. And the other one worked better than the other one. It's a 50-50 shot, and I lost.
It was the alternate.
It was the alternate.
Yeah.
How perfect can it be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's too great.
But maybe I'm the fake. I don't know.
No, please no. I don't like that.
Too early to start contemplating those ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why don't we start off? Just tell us kind of how you got into creating content in the first place. What got you into filmmaking and things like that.
So it's a weird start because this was my first ever project when it comes to like anything film, I guess. I've never done anything like this before. Until June of 2021, I graduated high school, and a few days after my finals, I realized that I kind of had some free time for the summer and stuff like that. And I just wanted to do a little horror series that I've been kind of like dabbling around with for quite a while before that, because I was really getting into some other like of the more popular analog horrors at this time. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to make a series based off of like kids' cartoons, but just messed up, edited in just like a really weird, cryptic manner. And that's what the premise of this entire series was actually going to be, was just that. But I started with the Beginner's Bible, which I thought was kind of like a I think that was something that nobody's really done before. I haven't really seen much of religious horror these days when it comes to internet um, horror stuff. So I think I thought that would be a cool start. I just figured I'll utilize my knowledge of like the uncanny valley and stuff like that to really catch people off guard. Kind of make a little story about just the nativity just altered in a horrific way. And then at the end, I literally put a poem that I wrote in creative writing class a few months earlier at the end of and that's what that monologue is at the end.
Perfect.
And then I just called it a day. I was like, oh, that's my first scary video. And I posted it to Reddit and the analog horror sub. And people liked it. They wanted to see more of where the actual story was going rather than what I had planned of just doing like a bunch of one-off cartoons, just spooky. So then that led me to creating pretty much what volume 1 is now. It's just at the time, over the course of that entire summer, I made like 3 or 4 or 5 like short 2 to 3 minute clips that kind of like, how do I say this? Took the story from the first video that I already made and established it in the modern era in a way. So like, what would this be like if this happened now compared to 2,000 years ago?
All right.
And like kind of, and those videos were basically just world building for what I had planned for like now and the rest of season 1. But I think about August or so, all those videos I just edited into one big thing, which is volume 1, which is by far my most popular video, I would say. So those I would say are the beginnings and like what drew me into popularity for the first time, I guess.
Nice. So did you take like, I don't know, video editing courses in high school or like artistic classes, or is this just kind of like a hobby of yours that you just kind of learned on your own?
Yeah, kind of. I had absolutely no prior experience at all. Everything was learned along the way.
Oh, nice.
And I'm still learning so many things about video editing and stuff like that. But everything that I've learned about the content itself was all just me being really enthusiastic about analog horror series that were popular at the time and still are.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the analog horror series that kind of inspired some of the Mandela Catalogue, or maybe that you're just a fan of in general?
I would say in terms of, you could tell that it was inspired, is Gemini Home Entertainment, Local 58 for sure.
Yeah.
A few smaller ones. There's one called Surreal Broadcast that I really enjoy. The Minerva Alliance. But I would say that my favorite one out of all of them is the Walton Files.
Okay.
And it has no, like, you could never tell that it would inspire me, but that is just my personal favorite. And it inspired, well, in a way, that is what inspired like the atmosphere and like the jump scares. Like the style, how the alternates look and stuff like that was heavily inspired by the way he edits his stuff.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of the jump scares, I saw a comment on one of your videos. I forget which one, but they were basically saying, he could jump scare us so many times or whenever he wants, and I just thank him that he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that's a good point, because some of those I'm just like, when is he gonna get? Like, is he gonna get me? And most of the time it doesn't, which is thankfully, and you can kind of like focus on like the story and stuff. But there are so many good opportunities for a jump scare, but that's obviously would defeat some of the premise of it, because some of that is just like like especially what Mike showed me early on, like it is just eerie stuff. Like it's not necessarily scary. There, there's nothing really kind of campy about it. It's just like eerie stuff on YouTube, and the fact that it is on YouTube only, and that's like where all this kind of stuff curates itself, is even more creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what makes analog horror so effective is it just is unsettling. Like it just creates this sense of uneasiness and tension, and I like the fact that there aren't many jump scares because that just makes it even more intense. You're waiting the entire time and it never comes, but you like have to prepare yourself for it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just unsettling, I think, is probably the best way to describe it.
So real quick for me, Alex, Mike and Nick, I think at one point kind of recommended one of the ones you mentioned before, the analog horrors, and they never really caught on for me. And I'm a horror fan. I love, I like anything from like the comedy horrors, like Scream, the Scream franchise, to just really creepy stuff. And I wanted to give this a shot, and a lot of the videos I've seen just weren't for me. But yours actually, I watched them all, and not just for this. I actually enjoyed them, and it was there's something you did that the other ones didn't do. And I know early on you said it's you kind of have you feel like you took a lot of influence from those. A lot of things, whether it be comics or anything like that. I mean, that some heroes are based off other heroes, but even the reincarnation of that hero will resonate with people a little bit more. And I think what Mandela Catalogue did for me was you pulled that off. It's, a version didn't really appeal to me before, and this one did. And the intense, the buildups definitely, that scares me more than actual jump scares. Right?
Yeah.
So, there's something, I don't know, there's something about it that, I watched it and I was like, oh, it was good. And I enjoyed it. I wasn't really scared though. And then I woke up the next morning and I'm like, man, I had some really weird dreams last night. I don't know what I stopped myself as I was saying it. I was like, what spurred? I was like, that son of a, he got me.
Yeah.
He got me. And I enjoyed it.
Nice.
That's my little spiel for it there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good compliment coming from Jordan.
Yeah,
it's
good to hear.
Yeah.
You said like I'm a jerk or something. I don't.
It's like, oh, Jordan gave a compliment. Wow.
Yeah, I give. Look, I don't want to cheapen the compliment, but I give compliments plenty of times. Thanks for portraying me that way.
Anytime, buddy. But yeah, I think another thing that you do well with the Mandela Catalogue is, like you're saying, that uncanny valley thing. I don't know. Wendigoon describes it perfectly. Just people with like weird features, or like the best thing I can think of is we watched It Follows in October for a review, and the one scene where the extremely tall dude like walks through the door.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That was the worst for me in that movie. Like I could not handle that part, and it's just something about disproportionate like
tallness. People,
or like, I don't know, the faces being all like long like you do, and
the
like
jaw. Yeah. It's the freaking jaw that does it.
It's just it's that unsettling thing. It's just like I cannot take it. Oh, yep, and here's Chad, our other co-host. Worst scene hands down. We definitely had a little spiel about that tall guy. So I loved It Follows. I mean, not to get totally sidetracked, but I love the scene where it is the old naked dude that's just standing on the roof as they're driving down the road.
It's the old naked guy.
Classic.
Has to be the naked guy.
And he's just standing on the roof. Like, come on. But yeah, speaking of like Wendigoon and that, like, how does it feel having I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but like I'm assuming you have followed or watched Wendigoon and like Mutahar and Nexpo and all those people. Like, how does it feel having them talk about your content, and not only talk about your content, but like give it such high praise and stuff. Like that's got to be mind blowing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's by far the most surreal thing I've ever felt. I'll always remember like the first thing that happened was Wendigoon messaging me on Twitter. Like that was like the first like either that or Nexpo commenting I like this on volume 1. It was either one of those. I forgot. But it was just really weird because I've been watching Wendigoon for quite a few months before he messaged me about doing a video about it. And when he did, I was ecstatic. I was so happy. Like, and then when people like Mudahar watched it like recently, I was so nervous because I felt like he's like the big man, like he knows like all the internet horror stuff. He's like the most experienced. And I was like, oh great, he's gonna hate this.
You're right.
He's gonna watch it. He's gonna be like, oh, this sucks. But no, I was so pleasantly surprised to hear that he enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I couldn't imagine what that feeling would be like. Just like logging on Twitter one day and Wendigo and being like, "Hey, do you mind if I do a video about that thing you made? Like, I really liked it." That'd be insane.
And he doesn't do like 10-minute recaps. He does like an hour at least.
Yeah, exactly.
He like breaks it down.
Yeah. Chad says, "I will say I watched Mandela Catalogue alone in my own dorm at work." He's a firefighter, by the way, so he does a lot of overnighters. Not the best decision I've ever made. Made an already tough place to sleep even worse.
Sorry about that.
Don't you apologize. You're doing great stuff over there.
It's a compliment, actually.
But yeah, man, that would be nuts. Been trying to get Nexpo to notice us for forever. Notice me, Nexpo.
Love me.
But yeah, I also wanted to comment real quick about like the support you probably have, in your family there. We have a Discord, which you may have heard in our intro, and you joined, and then your mom joined.
Oh no, yeah.
And I don't know. I just think, you're sitting here in your room, and you have nothing is worth the risk.
Yep.
Like spray painted on your bedroom wall. So your mom, your family has to be pretty supportive of what you're doing here with this series. Like how does that feel to have, your parents behind you, helping you, supporting you in your creative venture you have going here?
It is, well, it's it's relieving. I know that there's a lot of people my age who, if they get internet recognition, sometimes their families freak out and kind of get really protective and stuff. But her and my sister, my mom, they've been like really supportive and like nice about everything. They've been like very just supportive, especially like during times that I wasn't too sure about myself. I did just in general, like it's just been nice to have people to talk to when I needed and stuff like that.
Right. They give you any ideas for the series?
Imagine his mom stays out of it.
Well,
she just lets him do his method acting by spray painting the wall behind him.
Yeah,
really getting in the zone.
Her name was Mom of the Nightmare Maker. I'm sure she actually spray painted that on the wall.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you guys have, any of you guys watching the live stream, if you have any comments, thoughts about the series or questions for Alex or us or anything, feel free to send them in. We'll throw them up on the screen throughout the show here. But yeah, man. So each volume is a season. Yeah. So is volume 2 the second season of the catalog, or is that still part of the first season?
It's a weird way. I do it in a really weird way, kind of. I have it so every volume is the kind of like the premiere for its own season. So it'll start off like I didn't really have this planned when I did season 1, because he was kind of an accident. But but what I'm gonna do now is, pretty much everything before Volume 2 is all Season 1, focusing on certain time period and certain set of characters in this whole universe type thing. But then Volume 2 was the premiere of Season 2. So all the other videos that weren't of pre-Volume 2 are still in Season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And if that makes any sense, it's just that the volume is just a sign that, okay, this is like the big important introduction video that like kind of kicks things off in a way.
Nice.
So
and then Joaquin Martinez says, how many seasons are you planning on doing?
Right now I plan on doing definitely at least 3. Although Season 2 is going to be significantly longer than Season 1 has been, since 1 has been lasted about like 5-6 months or so. But I'm going to try to have Season 2 last for all of this year, and then really hone in on the time period and the story. And then for Volume 3, it's just going to be another jump forward in time, probably to around now in a way. But I'm not really sure what I'm going to do after that, because I can't really go forward anymore. But that's all I have planned for now. Things might change. I'm not really too sure.
Nice. So I really like the premise of the series. I like the idea of the alternates, and kind of how Wendigoon explained it in his breakdown. What drew you to take the religious angle here with your story?
So when I started out, when I made Overthrown, which was the first one, which was like the biggest religious video,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually going through quite the existential crisis at the time, especially when it came to like religion and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really I was just really struggling, and I was trying to find a way to have like a creative outlet, I guess, to kind of, I don't know. But that's how that started out, in terms of like how it even came in. But I think that it was kind of meant to be that it served as a great kind of background story that you kind of have to search for in a way when it comes to the other videos. I guess, yeah.
Nice. So was Wendigoon like accurate in his assessment of kind of like what is going on in the story, with the alternates basically being like the alternate of Christ, and then they have to like take the place of a person? So like what they would do is, get me to not alive myself anymore so they could take my place. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Like the term "not alive myself."
Yeah. I gotta figure out the best way. I mean, because we did somehow get banned on Facebook, and I have no idea. I have no idea why, but
it's funny how it works, isn't it? Like you end up making like almost a more demented way to say the actual version of the word.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I have my suspicion about why we got banned on Facebook, but I don't know if it's worth saying again. But basically, we're trying to describe the method of our show being what is it exactly, Nick?
We discuss, inform, and explore. So we got a D, an E, and an I. So depending on how you arrange those letters as an acronym.
Don't start with the I first and the D last, because I don't know, people might think you're like a terrorist or something and ban you on Facebook.
Yeah.
But anyways, we have another comment here. Lacet says, do you have the whole story written down already, or are you still thinking on some of the details?
No, I have the whole. I have the. I have a pretty good idea of where I want the story itself to go in terms of how things kind of like turn out in the world that it all takes place in. It's just the format that I tell it in sometimes will not come until I'm even doing it. So I have an idea of how I'm going, like where how I want things to end up in the plot, but sometimes because there's so many different ways to tell a story based off of technology and found footage. And I think that, and I usually like to put all of that on a broad spectrum of the kind of technology that I use in a way.
So for how do you kind of plan that all out? So like if you have most of it kind of in mind, is it just in your head, or is it like written down more kind of notes wise or storyboard? Like how have you gone about that?
So what I usually will do is whenever I think of an idea, I'll put it in my phone somewhere so I remember it. And then whenever I have time to be on my PC, I'll pull up a Google Drive document. I'll put whatever I wrote down in there, and then I'll kind of start to brainstorm like, okay, how can I tell this story? But every time I do that, it won't be for like a whole video. It'll be for like every scene, because kind of like in volume 2, there's like 3 or 4 different like sections, I guess you could say. So I do them all separately, and then I kind of combine it all to tell the same collective story in the end.
Nice.
Awesome.
I really do like the scenes that you have the TV in, and like you're actually using an analog device, an analog horror, which is just like very meta. I love it.
Yeah.
Are you actually like playing something on the TV and then recording the TV, or are you like, is that some kind of fancy post editing wizardry that you do?
Well, it's actually an adapter that I use to plug my laptop into this adapter thing that one side's in HDMI, the other end is like the I forgot what it's called, but like the red, yellow, and white.
Yeah.
And then that goes into the TV, and surprisingly enough, it does go through very well. And then I do just record it with my phone then.
Nice. That's pretty awesome. We have another comment here. Dumbassery. Took me a second to okay. Will we ever go further into the future timeline wise, or with future volumes and bigger success?
It depends. Right now I'm definitely kind of in the mindset of kind of sticking around between 1920s and 2010, I guess. I don't think that in a way, because I don't really want to go. I actually don't really want to go into the present that much, just because I feel like the whole premise of the series is kind of lost in a way, because I'm trying to tell a story from a nostalgic standpoint in a way.
Nice. It makes me excited that you say you have like the whole story in mind already. Yeah, we've talked about that a lot on the show, about how annoying it is when series will just continue on just to continue on, to make money and all that stuff. So that's awesome. 3 seasons. That's right in our 3 to 5. Yeah. That's like
3 to 5.
Perfect.
Mr. Robot, it's 4 season it, just
best, greatest show in the entire world that's ever been created, hands down. Let's see. Ty Does Voices says, how many episodes will season 2 be?
I'm not too sure about how many episodes it'll be, but I do. I would say, excluding volume 2, I'll probably be making 3 to 4 more throughout the year, I would say. And that is the person who commented that is actually the voice actor for Adam Murray in Volume 2. So.
Oh, okay. I was
Makes
wondering,
sense.
like the name is
Yeah.
like I'm looking for a job. Come on.
Yeah.
I do voices.
Well, that's awesome.
It's great.
And we got another one here from Starlyle. Do some of the unnamed alternates have names, or is it only N and 6?
The thing is, I actually kind of want to go in the route of having the alternates be unnamed, especially the ones that are a little bit more mysterious. Like there's one that appeared in Volume 2 that I'm kind of trying to build up as being a really mysterious character that nobody really knows about yet. So in a sense, I did name the Intruder 6 and like the main void-looking alternate, and but that was a while ago. I'm not really sure if I want to kind of do that anymore. I'm trying to keep them as spooky and mysterious as possible, rather than kind of like,
Flesh it all out.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with the idea for the alternates? I don't know why that was so hard for me to say that. It's such a cool concept. I just want to know like where that came from.
So I took a lot. It's kind of a combination of two things. First of all, I would say Wood Crawlers from Gemini Home Entertainment was a big one. Like that was a huge one. But also I think I'm in love with the concept of doppelgangers and clones and stuff like that, kind of trying to emulate other people's appearances.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the whole mimicking factor is really, really, really effective in horror, and I wanted to flesh that out a lot.
Especially how much, you play up on the whole, are they or are they not an alternate yet? And then they become one. Start to, and it's almost like, it's like, Mike, you've talked about a lot before, the whole like untrustworthy narrator. I feel like there's a little bit of that in here where, you're getting these bits of information about the story and like, this is all we're getting, because the point of like a lot of this horror, it's very kind of close-knit, limited information, is disjuncted. And then at the same time, it's like, am I even getting the right information right now from the right person? I'm completely being duped. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it.
I also did you ever follow what's it called? The sun has vanished or something that kind of played out on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm pretty close with the guy who made that.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I kind of get a little sun has vanished vibes from it was one of the first, maybe it was the first episode, I don't know. They all kind of run together because I watched them all very all together very quickly because I couldn't stop watching them. But the first episode, I think, where we hear the first knocking and the like, hey, let me in. It just very much reminded me of some of the stuff that happened in The Sun Has Vanished, which was really cool because like the voice didn't sound threatening or scary at all. It was, I don't know, just sounded like a normal person being like, hey, let me in, which I think adds to the creep factor, a lot when you're not trying to like be scary,
Yeah.
I don't know if any of that made sense, but
no, I get you.
The thing that where I was like, it took to me like the next level of like, you're committed to this, is the child portion where one, that kind of like bathroom symbol, like the bathroom type figures, right? That kind of animation on top of like child in the crib, what to do if the child's crying, it's just like that, I was just like, okay, like this is like,
Yeah.
that's pretty serious to like start, incorporating elements of like children, because obviously children in horror are really scary. And then to kind of like just start the story completely, like in my mind was not at all like going direction, like, yeah, there's going to be kids in this, because there aren't any, until random just kind of get a PSA that like, hey, just so you know, like in the event like a child is in this situation, this is how to deal with it. And I don't know, that was just disturbing, and is very effective.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask, or go ahead.
I was just gonna say the like infographic type, I don't know, Local 58 contingency type things. The PSAs, the government like PSAs are always so effective. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So
did you do those yourself?
The
animations for that?
Oh yeah.
Nice. What do you do that in?
Oh god, it's pretty embarrassing. I've made all of season 1, all of volume 2 was made on
your phone.
Yeah, on this.
The other wall.
Wow.
Yeah. I weirdly enough, I use this free like art design app called Canva on my phone.
Yeah.
And
I use that to do thumbnails sometimes.
Yeah. It was, I mean, it got the job done for what I was trying to do, but that was when I was like kind of trying to learn things. But yeah, I kind of use a when I was using my phone, I use a combination of like 9 different apps for everything. But and then just shoved it all into iMovie and like, oh, got to screen record it because export didn't work, and then put it on YouTube.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Man, it got the job done. And I think something that kind of that style lends to analog horror, because it's not like a very refined like aesthetic. You want the like almost
it's realistic
screen recorded of something to get that like old VHS type vibe or whatever.
Well, it goes with like the contingency stuff, because even when you see that kind of stuff, and it's obviously in theory like post-apocalyptic almost, and it's like limited resources, you're really just trying to get like this PSA out, whatever gets the job done. And it's kind of realistic to how you put it together, even like how you said earlier, how you used a poem that you just wrote months ago in school. Like you're really just kind of scraping together what you got, and like here it is, and it's amazing. So that's just
you know what's fun too, doing it all on a compact device like that too is like these days cell phones are throwaway technology, right? You're never gonna throw that phone away when you go to the next one, right? You're probably just gonna you're probably keep it somewhere safe, and it'll be like a trophy phone, and it's a
collectible at this point.
Yeah, exactly. You say it's a memoir, and it's a not a memoir, but a collectible is good. A relic. It'll be a relic one day. You could say that this is what I filmed all this on.
Yeah.
And your grandkids will be like, "What is it?"
Yeah.
What is it?
We'll put it in the YouTube Hall of Fame here someday. They should definitely make a YouTube Hall of Fame.
I don't know. There'd be a lot of crap in there, man.
Yeah.
With a lot of views, though.
Yeah. Earl Grey Tea Tree says, "How did you come up with the intruder, like the TV version of him?"
So when I was after Volume 1, I wanted to kind of branch off for a little bit of alternates themselves, like the whole doppelganger aspect, and kind of focus on another threat that's kind of coinciding with them, which is the intruder, which are the things that takes the children. But in terms of the TV version of him, a lot of people are under the assumption that he comes from the TV, kind of like in The Ring. Mm-hmm. But what I was trying to convey is that he's able to. I say he. It's really like a fourth dimensional being. But like
Gozer.
Yeah,
could be whatever it wants.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like he's not really like as much of a as much of a physical person as much as like he's kind of projecting himself onto on any kind of visual media. It doesn't even have to be it doesn't. And what I'm going to be showcasing in some videos soon is that the intruder won't even be, he's not restricted to technology. It could be any kind of visual media. It's just anything that can strike the fear into the hearts of people, children being the most impressionable, and using that in a similar way to the alternates as a way of taking advantage of their mental state and forcing them to unalive themselves and make room for them in their world.
So hypothetically, with what you just said, could a child do a little doodle and the intruder could appear in the doodle?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's freaky.
It is.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I watched a lot of horror stuff, like in my younger years. But like anytime either of my two kids who can draw pictures, I'm like so afraid to look at their pictures that I'm just gonna see like just a giant like black circle or like some like extremely tall like figure with a weird hat, or I don't know. But yeah, sometimes looking at my kids' art is slightly terrifying.
As long as their eyes aren't like rolled in the back of their head and they're not looking at what they're drawing, it should be good.
They're like, Daddy, it's you, and it's clearly not you. And you're just like,
this is my real daddy.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes, that's a lot of doors there.
See, it gets creepy real fast when the children are involved.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thanks for now putting that into my brain.
Your kids are upstairs like taking notes. They can hear it. I'm like, I'm gonna do this to scare them. I'll do this.
Yeah. Sasha says, have you ever thought of making a child alternate?
Don't do it. I'm just kidding.
Well, I've actually kind of been a little opposed to children being the threat because I feel like that's a little, or not even a threat, just like I feel like it's kind of cliche having like the child be like the plot point of a horror story. I like to focus on more of the real world kind of things, like what would really be happening if this was going on in the world right now. Would it be focusing on like little child draws scary drawing and becomes scary, or is it going to focus on the fact that 3,000 of them have been stolen? Like, I try to be as realistic as I can about it. Having a child alternate could definitely be like a good plot point for what I'm trying to convey, but it's just something that I'm not that interested in.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You make a great point. Also, 3,000 kids have gone missing. That's
it is a good point though, because if you're watching a scary movie, anytime it goes to like the kid going to bed, you're like, oh crap. It's time to get scared. You know, it's like, something's going to go wrong. They're not going to happily go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Actually, if they did, that'd be a twist.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
No scare. They just go to sleep.
Yep.
Chad says, I believe Wendigoon mentioned a different watch order for the series as opposed to like how they were released. For someone new, what do you think the best order to watch everything is?
As I put them out. No.
Well, I mean, I'm not even totally opposed to people watching things in the order of release, because it's not even that like it's not too hard to piece together, especially with things like the Walton Files. It does that same kind of storytelling where it's a lot of scenes will connect a part that came before, and you think, oh, that's what that means, or oh, that's the person that killed this person, or something like that. And I kind of like that aspect of keeping things a little bit cryptic in that way, so you can kind of piece things together your own. especially for people that don't like watching all the analysis and theory videos.
Mhm.
But in terms of in terms of the timeline, I would say the order would be Overthrown, The Think Principle, Volume 1, Intruder Alert, and then oh wait, I just said it in order. Well, I guess that'll be it.
Yeah, that's the order.
Well, never mind then. I just went on the whole rant about that.
That's
Never mind.
hilarious.
Just watch
That's how you
it
know
as
it's,
they
that's how you know
are.
it's pure, though, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Speaking-
was watching them off your homepage, off your video page, and the autoplay next video kept going back to the film theorist like breakdown of it. And I was like, stop it, YouTube.
Yeah.
But also, Matt Pat did a video on you. How
Right,
crazy
yeah.
is that? That's
I was like, what a
insane.
problem
Oh,
to
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's pretty surreal too. I've been watching him for like 8 years, ever since his
Yeah.
5 Nights at Freddy's theories.
Right.
Alex,
crazy.
do you have like a? So I didn't really watch. I watched a little bit of Wendy Goon's breakdown, but I was trying to not get too much of like other perceptions or how people see things before I hear you speak. But I did notice there was a lot of reaction videos, which that's a whole other level of like, I made it, like
Yeah.
people are just trying to play off that and be entertaining based on the reactions of fear. Is there a particular one that you watched that you were like, that's the reaction right there, that particular one that I want to see, or was it just like them all?
I would say out of all of them, probably Jacksepticeye's reaction was my favorite because he really felt everything, and I was really surprised.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know Jacksepticeye. My fiance's son loves him. I didn't know he actually. So now I got to watch a reaction. That's,
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
His coffee's really good. Side note.
I've yet to try it.
Yeah, it's really good.
He makes coffee.
He does make coffee. Yep. Yeah. It showed up in the mail, and Aiden's like, "Hey, you want some?" Aiden's like, it's like 15. And like, he's like, "You want some coffee?" And I'm a coffeeaholic, and I'm like, "Burn it up, let's do it." And yeah, it's really good.
Burn it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got some more questions here. Lev says, how did you meet the voice actors for the series? They are people you knew already, like friends, or did you do a casting call to find them? I'm just quite curious.
So it's actually kind of a funny story. It started out as people started the first 2 voice acting like inquiries that I got on my professional email were the 2 people, the first 2, like the 2 main actors in Volume 2 were the first 2 people who sent me a demo reel over email, and I added the first guy because I liked his voice. I put him in a Discord group chat where I would be putting the other ones that come along, and I added the second guy, and then they saw, once I added them, they started like saying really mean things to each other, and I was like, wait, what? Like their initial greetings, they were just like insulting each other relentlessly. And I was like, what is going on?
Oh,
And
that's
then they
funny.
told me that they knew each other previously. They're like best friends. And I'm like,
Oh, that's hilarious.
okay.
What are the odds?
Yeah. So I think that's kind of funny.
You're just like, what have I done?
Yeah,
These
exactly.
people- How many different voice actors have you used, or along with that, how many do you think you'll end up using across, the entirety of the project? Are there more characters coming that we'll be hearing?
Yeah, I mean, so far there's been, I guess, a total of 6 voice actors. There's me as Mark Heathcliff, my friend Andrew is Caesar, the 2 guys from Volume 1. There's Adam Murray, Jonah Marshall, and then there's the alternate from volume 2 on like the other side of the door, which is my mom. I just put her through Audacity to make her sound spooky. And then this one girl that I'm friends with, that I met through who is one of my Twitch stream viewers, said that her scream, like she can make like a really horrifying screaming sound. So that one part in volume 2 where like the turning point, that scream was one of my Twitch chat viewers.
Oh, nice.
I knew exactly what you were going to say when that. I was like, no.
Yeah. But in the future, I have I think I have 3 more. I'm working with 3 voice actors right now that I'm going to be using, along with the 2 that were in volume 2 as well. And the next video is going to feature a particular voice actor that will be very important. So
very nice. Another one here from Cliff Jones. Government videos warning the public take time to make. This would mean either this has been going on a long time or the government has been hiding their knowledge of alternates. Are you planning to reveal?
So what I've tried to do is I like to leave a lot of things up to interpretation, but when it comes to stuff like this, I would say that from the government's perspective, everything is kind of, we don't really know how long they've been going on, but we do know that they've been trying so hard to keep this secret, and it's just everything kind of came out all at once, kind of accidentally, and now they're kind of all freaking out, trying to put all this stuff together to try to calm people, and that's going to be a big plot point for a future season 2 video featuring how the police department is handling this.
Nice. I do like in the training video how they're basically like, yeah, you can't really, offer help because
Yeah,
like, I'm just like, oh dang, that would be rough.
that would be a little unfortunate.
Yeah, kind of on that, and this goes back to kind of like the order thing. When I watch, especially when they're structured like this, how you're saying like there is no structure really, like they kind of piece it together.
Yeah,
I do kind of put myself in the sense like, okay, if I was in this world and finding this information bits and pieces, meanwhile there's like an entire story of myself going on as I like find this information. So I kind of see like a video game where you like find the different clues that tell you what's going on in this universe. But that obviously plays into like how, like you said, like the government videos and the how-to videos, or what'd you call them, Mike? The like PSAs.
Yeah. Got another comment here. There's so many comments. I love it. 14 says SCP alternates when?
Well, I think that'll get quite confusing.
Just say no.
No. But
yeah,
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah. Question mark? Yes. And speaking of the, we have questions from Discord too. And
go ahead. Start asking some of those.
Saku Gasenzi. I'm not sure how to say that one. That one's the hardest one.
You had to get that one, didn't you?
Hey, that's on you, Discord user. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, these names are always so wonderful. But and this one kind of intrigues me too. Is the question is, was Overthrown difficult to make? And I mean, maybe you answered a little bit because you were talking about how you made those initially. But when I watched that one, you use a lot of different elements, like the children's cartoon. You put the image overlays, you black things out. And was it difficult to make? And was it kind of easy though too, if you just were kind of putting it together on your phone? Especially as that was the first video, right? Like that was the first one.
That video, surprisingly, maybe other than metaphysical awareness disorder, was definitely the easiest to make. I think that's probably the one I had most fun making too.
Right.
All because, well, I had literally no pressure at the same time. I made Overthrown in one day. I remember I woke up like a few days after school ended. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this video in one day. I'm gonna shove it all into one. And I mean, it wasn't too hard because, as I mentioned, I had like 7 or so different apps that I used. So like for the faces, like the spooky faces that appear over the actual characters' faces, what I'll do is I'll go into like some simple photo editing app. I'll take some image that I find online of like some scary face in the darkness. I'll isolate it, turn the contrast up, distort it to make it longer and uncanny, and then just plaster it over that, have that be a still image. And then if the audio is like glitched or messed up, I'll go into like an audio stretch app where you can like see the wave lengths and stuff. I don't know how to, but if I hover over a certain spot, pretty much. I mean, it's like that, except there's like a phone version of it that I like to use for a lot of stuff like that. But I mean, like the censor bar, it's just there's another app for that, just called Censor, that I used.
Perfect.
And for the ending text for the poem, there's another app where it's you can just put text in a photo. I don't know, it's just little things like that I just kind of accumulated just really quickly, I guess.
It's cool how much like that kind of rings to the whole slogan, like there's an app for that, and like all these tools are kind of out there, and you just found like the right 9 apps, and you're able to get the job done. And you kind of said something that piggybacks off of K39's question, and that's, where did you find all the photos and effects you use? And I was also wondering that too, because as I was going through the videos and like kind of making the art for the thumbnail this evening, I was kind of looking at it, and whether it's the the stretched faces and the way you kind of built those, definitely like some of that is you find stuff online, you alter some images.
I would say the thing that I like to do the most is I like to have the premise of the alternates be kind of grounded in reality in a way, as in like this reality compared to the universe that they're in. So I'll take a lot of the like the scares, I guess you would say, have been already established photos that are kind of well known, especially the original intruder image that got all popular. That's just a criminal sketch drawing, along with earlier in volume 2, where Mark shoots the gun and it's just black, and the face is kind of there. That's also another criminal sketch drawing. It's just that those a lot of those have just very uncanny valley-esque features, just because it's just the technology when they made them was just not that great at the time. They just had to feed in information about what like a victim said about what they looked like. And I think that in that kind of sense that I like including kind of some reality into it. I also the original intruder image scared the daylights out of me as a 13-year-old when I first saw it. I remember thinking about it for days when I was in bed. And I think that bringing back that kind of, that's kind of like a shared fear that a lot of people my age have with a lot of like the memes that unintentionally scare us as kids in a way. And I think that that's why it affects a lot of people my age too, because we kind of have that shared trauma, I guess, of like the spooky creepypasta pictures and stuff like that. But if I don't just use the image, like just screenshot it, what I'll do is I want to distort it in some way. And especially now, since I have quite some attention, I try to kind of make it my own. Especially the main stretched spooky face in volume 2 was just this creepy meme that is pretty recent. That it's just there's this TikTok account that I saw where it's so mean. It's just like this guy who makes these videos that are completely innocent. They're just like so harmless. They're like for kids, and like there'll be like cooking videos, like like toy reviews, but then every single one, the video will cut out, and it's just this face of this horrifying woman thing with her mouth open at the bottom of like the screen with this dark room behind her, and I remember seeing that on TikTok, and I was so caught off guard because at this point I was so desensitized by anything horror related, and it's so cheap. The way that they did it, but it was so incredibly effective, and
Right.
I like that face a lot, so I threw it into Photoshop and I kind of made it my own in a way, and that's what that face is.
Nice.
That's cool.
We have a question here from Joaquin Martinez again. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Can alternates mimic other living beings like animals?
Not fluffy. Anything but fluffy.
Yes. In fact, it's not even it's not even limited to humans and animals. It can be anything. It doesn't even have to be a living being, which is what I'm going to be touching on in another season 2 video, is that alternates don't even, I mean, they're so foreign to us, and we're so foreign to them that they can't really distinguish that the fact that humans are that different from every other object around them. So what they'll do is they'll try to camouflage as anything. It doesn't even have to be a living being. It could be like a golf ball or something, or like anything. And that's what I kind of want to emphasize, is the whole paranoia aspect. You don't really know what's watching you in a way.
Right. So before we go on with more questions, because there are more, and thank you guys for commenting in, and for those of you who put your questions in our Discord, thank you guys for that. So what's like, again, if this gets into like spoiler territory, like feel free to not answer, but like what's the end goal of the alternates? Like, they trying to take over the world? Are they trying to, like, I don't know, somehow summon like a mega alternate to come in and, like, I don't know, like what's
Mike
what's
writes
going on
analog
here?
horror in his spare time. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I won't reveal what the end goal is specifically, but what I try to make clear is that they're trying to get people to get rid of themselves so that it makes room for them in a way. So they're kind of trying to make I'll just say they're kind of trying to make a reality for themselves.
Okay. And so are the alternates like outside of like our reality in terms of like angels and demons? Are they like demons, or are they just like other, some
Like a
form of-
metaphysical.
yeah couldn't think of
awareness.
the right word there. Do they exist outside of that reality? Are they older than our history of time and religion and all that stuff? Or like,
Mike's going deep.
Well, in
I want
a
to
way,
get I want to get some lore questions. Yeah, exactly.
Tell me everything you know.
understandable.
That's so funny that we both did this at the same time.
I know, it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
I would say that how I view it is from the first ever alternate incident with the nativity scene, that affected a lot of people who were kind of banished to a realm that was kind of hinted at during the poem section. It affected so many like souls, I guess you could say, and a lot of people weren't happy with how that turned out and kind of stuck around for 2,000 years, just not making themselves present because the government has been trying so hard to keep it kind of secret. But there just was a breaking point in the early 90s where things just started to kind of get out of control. They kind of tried to scramble together to fix it. That's just how I view it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this conversation kind of brings into how I was gathering it, and obviously when you started talking about metaphysics, I started kind of seeing where the mindset was that maybe they are just bored with what their reality is. So like right now, we're diving really hard into virtual reality or just augmented reality because in a lot of ways we get tired of our own reality, and
this is them playing Oculus Rift.
Right. Yeah. I saw that on your stream setup, by the way. There it is. Yeah. There it is. So it's like we're like, you know what? Let's go into this other reality because we kind of mastered this one. Let's just go in there and just start flipping some tables, and we'll see if we like the physics there better than the ones that we're tuned to. But that's I see it as a different dimensional beings just starting to come over here, and they just have no value for what our values are, and it's terrifying.
Please delete yourself so I can play in this world.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's basically
the server's too full. You got to wait in queue. Like, you know what? I'm gonna go to my neighbor's house and I'm just gonna rip his freaking router out of the wall, take him out of the game, make room for myself.
Wow, that escalated quickly, Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's about to happen.
Yeah. Can't keep Jordan away from Overwatch too long, or else he gets pretty violent. Chad says, "Well, he did a good job because that's the most terrifying thing. That voice on the other side of the door." We're a little behind on the comments, so I don't remember exactly what we were talking about that time, but yes.
It's amazing how there's like Earl Grey Tree and like Dumbassery and all these crazy names and Chad.
Variety.
Yeah.
Chat on Facebook.
It's like it's a fake name.
Yeah.
It's like completely fake. I don't believe it.
Starry Starlisle says, does woman live in Caesar's house? And is it a coincidence we revisit the Torres household, or is that just because you had to use your house?
Now, it's kind of, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, I don't really have that much of a budget to have an entire house, but for the set
wall,
yeah. But from a storyline standpoint, I made it work out because canonically it is the same house. Just I like to have the. I knew that I wanted Volume 2 to have a lot of parallels with Volume 1 in terms of content and like camera shots and stuff like that. Because in a way, it's just the same situation that Mark had to go through when he got the call from Caesar, except this time it's a woman calling like a ghost hunting crew that hears meows of her dead cat and she needs help, but that was not true. But it's the same. It's implying that it's the same alternate, just in that same exact household for the 20 years that passed in between.
So is the woman the alternate then there?
Yeah.
Or okay, nice. We have another one here from Elizabeth Rudas. Hex Kirari. How did you come up with the name of the series?
The name of the series came along.
That's a great question, actually.
And did they come first with the first video? I mean, it did because that's the name of it, right?
Yeah, it's just
So
I'm trying to think because I remember I had a different name. Oh, okay. Before I even started, the name of the series was Time Shift Archives. I remember because everything was the same exact thing. All the plot was the same. It's just I decided that Mandela Catalogue was better because it all kind of tells the same story of how this is all based on two realities kind of merging together. Just what that process would be like. In a way, I like to describe the events of season 1 as being kind of like the premise of the game Doom, just in a more subtle manner. and like psychological way. But also the Mandela effect, which is kind of like the theory that maybe like the like time parallels collide every once in a while, and it makes people think things happen that didn't. I think that that kind of theme of this reality is kind of trying to merge with this one, in a catalog of videos that provide that information. And as in the catalog being the recovered information that the government and the police have tried to gather. That's pretty much what the title means.
And then doesn't it also take place in Mandela County?
Oh yeah, that too.
So it's like perfect combination there. I really like that. That was a great question. We gotta throw this up there. It's not a Showboys episode without the underfunded Yo.
In the house.
Okay, Lev says, another question. What's your thoughts about fan content in general?
Oh boy. All right. So this is gonna be a long one. So fan content is very cool. I'm very happy that people take time out of their day to make fan art about something that I've created. That's probably the biggest compliment I can ever receive. But when I start to introduce characters that are normal humans, well, not even that, any character that has ever appeared, I have seen get heavily romanticized and sexualized to such a degree that it blows my mind. Like,
it's the internet, the first place it goes.
Oh yeah, that's the only place it'll go.
Yeah, and the weirdest part to me, and the Walton Files fan base is unfortunately very similar to that. These people are so obsessed with like the absolutely despicable, disgusting people of this story. Like, oh god, it's just so it's compared to the, and most of the time it happens even more than the people that you would expect to get obsessed over, like the young boys or something. No, these people obsessed over the Antichrist. These people obsess over a home intruder. These people obsess over a fourth dimensional doppelganger that hasn't transformed yet, and he's just a black void with two eyes. That's I don't get it. I'm and unfortunately, especially recently, it's gotten really extreme in some cases, and there's going to be some things that, especially with the Discord server, that we're going to have to make some big changes about, because it's got to stop sooner rather than later, because it's getting to a point where we can't turn back, and I'm scared.
Turn back.
And people wonder, like,
fan art
why
is scarier than the catalog at this point.
Oh man.
And people wonder, like, if these stories could really happen. Well, that's why they've really happened, because like people are pretty twisted. So surprise, alternates come along and start pushing us out, because
maybe it might not be that bad of a thing.
Nick said that like he's one of the people in your Discord that's doing this stuff.
Yeah, that was actually Nick admitting guilt there.
Let me tell you why I mean they are doing this.
Oh yes, I love it. Elizabeth Rudas says, and why did you name them alternate for? So that's a good little segue there.
I mean, the alternates are basically foreign being that is just a black void at first arrival. It kind of acts like a chameleon, where it'll try to blend in as much as it can. And the ones that are showcased in the series are the ones that try to disguise as people. So I think that it would be maybe a little clever to call them an alternate rather than a doppelganger, because they're not really a doppelganger. They're an alternate to a person, a real living person who will be playing a part in the series, I guess.
Yeah. Let's say it rolls off the tongue a little easier than having to say
That's a good word.
doppelganger a bunch of times.
That's how I name my files when I make 2 versions of something. I don't do like V1, V2. I do the version, then there's the alt version.
Yeah.
So
Oh, geez.
it resonates with me. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
If you named it doppelganger, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Report 2021.
Q1 and then Q1 doppelganger.
Report 2021 doppelganger.
Oh, that's amazing. Lambo asks, if a larger budget comes along, will there be CGI in future episodes?
Yes, and I in fact have a larger budget where there is going to be CGI in the next video.
Cool.
And we're gonna be seeing alternates in live action, and that's all I'll say for that.
That's a huge hype fest right there. That sounds exciting.
Yeah,
Are you doing
it's
all
gonna
that?
be cool. Yeah. Well, I actually have. I won't say
I have a
who
staff.
yet. Yeah, I mean, I am working with a lot of people now, especially two. I'm working with a cartoon animator that has quite big name on YouTube. That I reached out to recently, and then a certain fan game came out recently that got quite a bit of traction. That I was able to contact the creator of, and I have him on the team. So nice. I have a lot of. I only really have to worry about directing a lot of things. I'll be shooting the live action shots because I bought a lot of stuff for like prop wise and stuff like that. But there's definitely going to be some scenes where I'm going to need some help with computer generated imagery. So yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Wow, this one has to go up just because we're a big fan of Yo's, and Squished Blackberry says
Squished
Yo
Blackberries.
Alex. It's a great name.
Yeah.
Wow, we got a lot going here. So
that was back when you were talking about the Mighty Morphin alternate.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you want to use that, you're totally free to like the series finale. You just they're all come together. Yeah,
that's where the CGI comes in, Mike. You got to see the arm like go into the shoulder and the head pop up, and
you could lead it down this very like detailed story driven route, and that's just how it ends. Like they all just morph into one. Then it's funny. Or just more scary.
I wonder. I am curious though, like how. Again, you don't have to answer stuff that is going to spoil anything, but like, I'm wondering like how are we gonna fight off the alternates? Like how do we stop the alternate invasion?
Well,
obviously not just don't unalive yourself. I mean, that would be a great start.
Yeah.
But they kidnapped, or I'm assuming they captured these 3,000 kids, maybe. So I don't know, man. Things to ponder.
Yeah, for now, we're just kind of seeing things unravel. People trying to figure out how to get rid of these things. A lot of experimental things going on with a bunch of different corporations, I guess you could say. But that's all I can really say for now.
Yeah, I don't. As I was saying that, I'm like, there's no way. I don't want him to answer this. It just literally goes through my head. Oh yeah, is this what you're talking about, Nick?
Yes. I was keeping up with chat on the side there. Yeah. People enjoyed that comment.
Alternates unite. Yes, that would be amazing. Let's see here. Earl Grey Tea Tree says, "What happened to Caesar after everything happened? Did he die or did he live?"
The real Caesar, the non-alternate Caesar, is still out there somewhere. And he's trying to find Mark, and Mark's trying to find him, I guess. Oh, I accidentally spoiled something there. Well, that's out. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot.
Wow.
Well, Well, actually, that was one of the
Hey,
more
don't
tame
don't
ones.
worry. No one listens to this podcast anyway, so you're
Not
totally
even us.
okay. Yeah, so you're fine.
Just change it.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the more tame things I could have accidentally spoiled. So it's out there. Whatever.
77SOS777 says, "Bro, imagine finding out your house is an alternate. That'd be crazy."
That's quite interesting that they said that. That's all I'll say.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a few comments in chat here where they were talking about just like the house itself taking you away with it, stuff like that. I think that was kind of bled off of you saying how just anything could be latched onto by an alternate.
Exactly.
I want to try to stay away now from like story
people are
related things because there's some specific questions. But this one seems all right. Sasha says, "Can alternates speak other languages like Spanish, French, etc.?"
I mean, they can
Probably
try
more
to.
than that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I try to get across the most about the alternates, compared to compared to stuff like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, these things are not good at. Well, I should say it's very rare that they accomplish their goal of disguising as something. They're still extremely flawed, and most, if not all of the time, it doesn't work, and that's where the horror element comes in. It's just these doppelgangers trying to fit in, but they just don't pull it off, and I think that aspect of it kind of creates like a really meta way of incorporating the uncanny valley that I really like.
For sure. Anytime I think of a situation like that, my mind always goes to the first Men in Black movie when Vincent D'Onofrio's like human suit just kind of like starts falling apart because he's getting too big. But I gotta say, one of Vincent's best roles, in my opinion, is quite overlooked. Here's a good question. Elizabeth Ruda says, another question: did you write the story first, or did you come up with the concept first?
I would say I came up with the concept first because I made the first episode not realizing that it would go in the direction that it did. But after that, as I made volume 1, like the videos that made it up, I was kind of writing the story as it kind of went. And I knew that it would be more fleshed out as the time periods go on too, which is what I'm kind of trying to do now. So yeah.
Nice. And I know you said like, this just kind of happened, one summer, last summer. But has like writing a story or coming up with, creating content, I guess, been something that you've wanted to do? Or was this just like a spur of the moment, like, hey, I have this idea, let's see what I can do in a day, and then it has turned into this?
Kind of a bit of both. For quite a few years now, I've been dabbling around in, well, okay, way earlier, I said that this was like my first genuine like video project kind of thing. I mean, I guess an exception can be made for like 4 or 5 years ago when I tried to make videos pretty much like how Nexpo makes his videos, like covering like obscure, creepy videos that I find on YouTube. Like just spur of the moment things like that, I guess. But also before I was doing before Mandela started, I was actually making drum cover videos as well because I'm also a musician.
Nice.
And that's what I was going to college for. So in a way, I guess I kind of had I did have a passion for making YouTube videos. I just knew nothing about the technical aspect of things until then.
So do you do any music projects?
Yeah, well, not as much, but I'm planning on having a me and one of the people I'm working with are working on a soundtrack for Volume 2, and especially the
Nice.
next video even.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I enjoy music myself, so that's pretty exciting. You play drums, you said you did drum covers. Do you play anything else?
I play bass. I'm kind of mediocre at it though.
Nice. That's pretty cool, man.
You said that, when you first made, you're kind of inspired to do like, creepy, altered kind of like children's cartoons variation. That's how the first how Overthrown came about. Do
Mhm.
you see yourself getting back to that once you wrap the Mandela Catalog and maybe just doing, an unconnected series of those type of videos, or you kind of see yourself doing another kind of Mandela Catalog type venture?
So I've been thinking that exact same thing because I knew that I wanted to do that more. And
Mhm.
I already know for a fact that there's going to be another Mandela video where it's exactly like Overthrown. That kind of altered kid's
Right.
story on its own. But um, uh, upcoming video is going to be um, in a similar format that volume 1 is in, where it's kind of a conglomeration of a bunch of different pieces of evidence that people have found and put into one thing. Where I'm actually me and somebody that I'm working with are making our own cartoon kind of series
Oh,
kind of thing,
nice.
where so I don't really I don't have to steal somebody else's. So but
Right.
maybe in the future I could definitely do that with stuff in the public domain and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and then in that same sense, would you see yourself kind of sticking in the same universe or kind of peeling out altogether? Like, because like there's the Mandela Catalog, obviously there's this huge kind of universe around that. But if you were to make more of that stuff, would you have it loosely connected? Much like what's our favorite type of series, Mike, around here?
Anthology.
Anthology, like an anthology of sorts, where it's not a continuous story, but they're all related.
Um,
Hard
I
question.
would
Still thinking
say
about it.
that yeah. Well, the thing that I had planned is I was going to do that pretty much exactly what you were saying. But it is going to be connected in the universe and in the story, because as we'll be finding out in a upcoming video, um, these children's cartoons are like meta. Like there's a reason
Mhm.
why they're the way they are. They're like corrupted VHS tapes, but something's been corrupting them, and we don't know why yet. So I'd like to expand upon that and show the different ways that these tapes have been being altered.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you answered the question. I mean, it's all kind of staying in the IP here, which is
Yeah.
really cool. That way, I like that. I love anthologies, and I just like that you can have a concept live on, but you can actually end things though in terms
Right.
of like a series or a part of it. Because like Mike said earlier, like no need to run the Mandela Catalog for 10 seasons and kind of like ruin it.
Run
Please
it
don't
into
do
the
that.
ground.
Yeah, don't run it into the ground.
Yeah.
We
So
have
I'll try not to.
try not to.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Spoiler
Uh-huh.
alert, season 3. No.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Let's get back to some Discord questions here. ZomVILCL says, "What are the bases for making an analog horror story?"
The bases.
You're a
Like,
pro
I'm
now,
sure
so
there's.
you have to answer that question because
Yeah, exactly. You know everything about.
Yeah.
I would say maybe like they're asking for what probably the building blocks, the
the
fundamentals
basics,
of analog horror.
yeah, the three things maybe that you need to do it.
Okay. I would say that To an extent, it needs to feel like as you're watching an analog horror series that you're witnessing something unfold, and you can't really do anything about it. I think that vibe is very important, and pretty much every series, every analog horror series shares that. Um, and it doesn't have to be the same formula that we've been kind of used to of, especially when things were starting out, like especially when Local 58 was getting popular, and that's what every other analog horror series was trying to do, was trying to be Local 58. It was like news broadcast, but it's scary because of an alien or something. But I think that when Gemini came around, that was really when it started to split off a little bit, because he tried to expand upon that concept, but incorporating things such as like home videos and found footage, which is what inspired me to do the found footage sections myself. But I think that that's the one thing that I will say that analog horror doesn't need right now is something new. I mean, my favorites are the ones that try to be something else, which is in a way why I like the Walden Files so much. It takes an already established idea, Five Nights at Freddy's, but makes its own version of it, but tells it in a very different way, which is what I enjoy so much. And I think is kind of like the beauty of analog horror, is that every single series is in some way just taking an idea and turning it on its head. And it could even still be an already established horror series. Just as long as you can make it your own and make the viewer feel like they're viewing something, like it's just like any other TV show. It's just aesthetically very different, and it's just told through technology. And that's what I think that's the biggest thing that makes analog horror so successful, especially among people my age, is that a lot of us feel nostalgia for the VHS vibe, but at the same time, a lot of younger people have no idea, like it still feels very foreign to them, which is where the horror aspect comes in. It feels like you're viewing something very old and cryptic, and I think that's why it's not that effective for adults.
Oh. Well, right into my old heart.
Well,
yeah.
I think there's an element.
It was fun. Have a good night. I'm gonna go cry.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's almost like it's just out of reach, though, because it wasn't that long ago, really. It's just technology has just taken off so much where it feels like it's 50 years ago.
Yeah. But really, it was 40 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Sadly, that's not a joke. But yeah, I think I do like how we've kind of like, I love the Local 58 take on it, like you're watching like a news station or a local broadcast station, like in the wee hours of the morning, and it keeps getting hijacked or whatever
from your bunker,
or like the government PSA videos that are tampered with. Like that's really cool. But I really enjoyed that new take that Gemini had, like you described, with the found footage stuff. And I also really like how you're continuing to branch that out even further with the Mandela Catalogue. There's it's kind of hard to explain why analog horror is so effective. I think it's a great genre because if it's done right, you do feel like you're like everything is from your point of view, as opposed to watching another character. For example, like you're not following Luke through Star Wars, like you're witnessing Star Wars from your point of view or whatever. And the other fact with the like medium being technology, like TVs, broadcasts, VHS tapes or whatever, there's like a very real, like I don't know, closeness to reality. Like we talked about it in our analog horror episode way back when, But there's like a few real life examples of, you know, a news station in Chicago being hijacked. The Max Headroom incident, like you
Yeah.
can look that up. That was really cool. That really happened. Somebody hijacked a news station in the middle of like a sports report. And more recently, like the Hawaiian missile crisis that happened in like 2018 or 2019 or whatever, like the government sending out emergency alerts to everyone in Hawaii that like they need to prepare to be hit by missiles. And then like everyone in Hawaii, rightfully so, panicking and freaking out like, oh my God, am I about to get blown to smithereens by these missiles or whatever? And then like a half hour later, they're like, oh, my bad. You know, Fred, like he really, you know, really messed that one up. Sorry.
He laid down the button.
Yeah. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just like this realness factor to analog horror. I mean, I know like Local 58 and, you know, Your Story and Gemini, they're very, you know, outlandish, right? You have alternates possessing people and like the moon being a crazy living creature that's going to destroy everything. So, I mean, that part is not like based in reality, but like just the way that the story is delivered very much is. I don't know. It's such a cool genre. I love it so much. We have another question here from Discord. Mike of the Mist. He said, well, there's 3 parts. Pretty good question, so we'll do them all. What is one alternate in character that scares you the most and why?
I would say definitely the intruder, as a concept of both being a physical being and affecting technology, because that is really that, as much as I put an emphasis on the alternate kind of deal, I do think that I put the most kind of like childhood fear aspect into the intruder, both from going like being because when I was a kid, I was always really scared when I went to bed, and I would always go to like my parents' rooms for the night in the middle of the night, and the pathway to get to the basement where their bedroom was really scary every single time. It was like all dark and stuff. I had to like go through the dark living room, the kitchen, down the stairs to the left, and into their room. But that journey would be horrifying, and that's what I try to kind of touch on in Volume 1 with Mark Heathcliff's like children's book when he was that he wrote in when he was 4, as well as it being able to project itself on just screens. I think that the idea of just waking up one night to the TV in your room, not knowing, and it's just some guy's face. No context, nothing. I just think that the ambiguity of the entire situation is what makes it what scares me the most, and that's why I included it.
Nice. The children's book is what terrifies me the most with being a parent. Like I'm just like waiting to accidentally find one of those in one of my kids' rooms. The intruder. He then says, what are some of your favorite theories about the series and why?
Oh, okay. I think that it's really interesting to see people. A very popular theory that I've seen is that this is all one big metaphor for mental illness and depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And there's a lot of things that I completely unintentionally put in that actually work very well in the context of the theory, especially with metaphysical awareness disorder being a metaphor for like depression and where that could lead you to, among many other things like schizophrenia and hallucinations in general. That one I think is really interesting. That whole theory that it's all one big metaphor for something.
Nice. Yeah, like Are there a lot of fan theories floating around out there that you've been made aware of? Like uh, how often do you come across fan theories?
The thing is, I come across quite a bit of theories, but they're all very condensed into one aspect of the story rather than big broad idea, because it's not really a secret anymore that Wendigoon's theory is pretty much what I was going for.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but what a lot of people will do is, rather than taking one grand look at it, they will kind of hone on a specific character. Maybe there's been like millions of theories about the intruder and who he is and why he's there in the midst of this alternate invasion kind of thing. I've heard some people say that he is really Mark's dad, or the baby's dad that was an intruder alert that we never saw appear again after the mom went into the bedroom. Just so small things like that, I think, is really interesting.
Yeah.
Dang. And then his last part: if you were any character from the series, what character would you be and why? I can answer this. Mark.
Yeah. It's literally me. I mean, when I was kind of farming his character, I kind of wanted him to kind of be like how he's kind of representation of me. A lot of people, especially in the phone call, people have the right to their opinions and stuff. A lot of people criticized our voice acting in the first one, which I won't say that it was fantastic, because it wasn't. But that's literally how I would act if I was on the phone. I'm just not the kind of person that would freak out over things like a traumatic experience happening for my friend. I'll just try to be as calm and collected as possible, even in the context of the story. If Mark had a bad experience there before, but I mean, that's just kind of how I viewed Mark in a way.
Nice.
So you're ready. So you're ready for this to materialize in the real world.
Yeah, I'm prepared.
Oh man. All right. 2 + 2 always makes up 5 says, what was your favorite DHMIS episode? I'm not sure what that is.
Don't hug me, I'm scared. It's
yeah.
I guess familiar.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite is the 4th episode, because it's the closest to what I like, which is centered around technology and how it can go downhill really fast depending on how much you use it.
Very nice, very nice. He also, I don't know if this is a man or a woman, but I just, for some reason, always default to he. Anyways, when and why did you get into video editing? Which I think we may have covered.
I mean, I kind of started out the series as a result of my great interest in the popular analog horrors at the time. The series has been one big learning process for me. I mean, I'm still learning things now. I mean, everything I learn, every time I make a video, I learn something new.
That's awesome. And it's super cool that you've kind of just taught yourself all this stuff as you go. That's super impressive.
That's how it works these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can just YouTube everything. And then, of course, do you have a favorite color? That's probably the most pressing question that we have so far.
As an alternate, no.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of red and black.
Nice.
I guess.
Well,
could that be our new way of testing people to see if they're alternates? Do alternates like colors?
Maybe they could try to answer somehow.
in their uncanniness, they're just like cat.
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
They just meow.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Earl Grey Tea Tree says, will Caesar ever be back in the series?
In one way or another, yeah.
I like that answer.
Nice. And then our last question from Discord tonight, from Defint. He says, you use DaVinci's Resolve. Do you have the premium or the free version?
I've been using the free version. I just started using DaVinci Resolve recently. I used it for I used that in Photoshop and Audacity for Volume 2. Surprisingly pretty good for free video editing software.
Nice. And thank you guys all for throwing those questions up in our Discord. And thank you, Alex, for answering them all. If you guys would like to join our Discord, we have a link in our episode description, or if you're watching this on Twitter, you can go to linktr.ee/showboyspodcast. Go ahead and join our Discord. It's a fun place to be. But yeah, man. We have a lot of other questions in the comments, and I feel bad for just barraging you with 1,000 questions tonight. So we might cut off the comments or the questions here for now. But we have like a tradition whenever we have people on our show. We always got to ask our guests what they've been watching lately. So have you had any free time, with your immense skyrocketing of YouTube fame to watch anything, or are you just too busy slamming out Mandela Catalogue content?
Well, I try to keep a healthy balance of both, because obviously I kind of need something to kind of fuel the inspiration that I have for the big picture. Last night I watched Signs, the 2002 movie, and I really liked it. It was really interesting.
Is that your first time?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I know it's it's 1 year older than me.
Wow, that makes me feel.
I can't do it.
Yeah. No, it's all good, man.
It's okay. They're old and they're ashamed of it.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of it. I just hate it.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I'm both. Yes.
I'm not embarrassed. I just hate the reality.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that one scene from the birthday party of the alien doing the Sasquatch watch over, or the walk, that got me like so bad.
Joaquin Phoenix's
yeah,
like
exactly.
his reaction's so good.
I love how he's just wearing a tinfoil hat.
Right.
Yeah. And now I have a cornfield in my backyard, and so our kitchen, the kitchen sink has a little window above it, and it's facing our backyard. So like I do the dishes at ungodly hours of the night. So I'll just be like washing some cups and like afraid to look out my window because I don't want to like see anything crazy in the cornfield. Yeah, that's a good movie, man. I'm glad you got around to watching it, and it blows my mind that movie is 1 year older than you. You watching any shows or anything?
I gotta be honest. The only show that I've watched all the way through was Breaking Bad, like 4 years ago. I enjoyed it immensely. I just don't really find myself enjoying watching shows that much. I kind of like being there for a more condensed experience, I guess. I mean, I feel like there's definitely something out there that I would enjoy. I'm really not into the whole like binging thing. I hate sitting in one spot for hours and hours on end and just watching. But sometimes I kind of have to, because I really want to know what happens next in a way. But I mean, yeah.
Nice. You're like the exact opposite of Nick. He couldn't watch Breaking Bad and hates watching movies. So like if you guys could just become one.
Yeah.
A normal
Tell me to alternate him. Is that what you're
No, don't alternate
him.
Well, I like your term, like condensed. That's how I'm just going to describe like TikTok now. So it's like, it's not just a 30-second quick video. It's a condensed media format.
That's like the file size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask one more question because I don't want to disappoint anyone in chat. But Liminal Network says, "Hey Alex, I have a question. I was wondering if you based Volume 2's Jonah and Adam's relationship off the song The Adults Are Talking by The Strokes, since I saw the lyrics fit the duo in events."
I have never heard of that song. But
Yeah, you're gonna listen to it like after this now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm curious now.
You're like, did I?
Maybe.
Nice. Man, how old are the Strokes? I wonder how much older they are than you.
We're just like comparing.
Yeah.
everything now, aren't we? Like,
Thanks,
it's,
Chad.
All right. So I noticed you have like a live stream channel. What kind of games do you like to play?
Well, shouldn't be a surprise, but I like playing mostly horror games and stuff. Played a pretty up and coming horror game called I'm on Observation Duty recently, which was incredibly enjoyable. And also, in my last stream after that, I played a game called Lethal Omen, which is a game that's actually
the Gemini game, right?
Yeah, it's a game that coincides with the Gemini Home Entertainment universe, which is so creative, and I respect that so much. And it tried to emulate like the PlayStation 1 and 2 vibe of like the low quality polygon textures of everything. And I think that's so cool and interesting. And I really like stuff like that.
Yeah. That's super cool.
I'm a big Phasmophobia fan. You ever play that?
Oh yeah, I play that on stream sometimes.
Oh, cool.
It's really cool.
Nice. When are you gonna get Nexpo to make a video covering your series?
I don't know. I mean, he's covered the big three already. I don't even know if he's going to I'm not totally sure if he's gonna make a video on it. He might be, at least for a while. I think he might be a little tired of making long videos about analog horror series. I don't know. I mean, I would be very pleasantly surprised if he did, though. I mean, he's by far. I mean, he's the one that introduced me to Look 58. How many years ago? When he was called Nightmare Expo. And watching him for so long, that would be probably by far the most surreal experience next to Markiplier and Jacksepticeye watching.
Man, his little intro song is so iconic.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, you guys have any other questions for?
I was gonna say, Alex. So in the paranormal idea here, do you usually find yourself more interested in stories that revolve around like extraterrestrials or like the paranormal ghostly side of things?
Probably equally, I would say. When my roots of being interested in horror kind of, I mean, all my life I've been really interested in it. From a young age, I've always watched like Ghost Hunters and stuff like that, which is what inspired the premise of Volume 2. And I even plan on making another. That's why I like Phasmophobia so much, because it's kind of like that. But I plan on making a side series in the future or in fact, it's probably going to be the main series that goes on after Mandela Catalogue, where it's another found footage thing, just based on a ghost hunting group that just encounter extremely strange things in kind of an SCP-esque way, rather than just, oh, it's just a ghost. No, it's like something crazy and weird. But I think that I don't really think the whole ghost reality show thing has been used as a base for a lot of modern horror things. I don't think anybody's really turned it on its head yet, and I'm kind of waiting to do that.
Interesting. Yeah. So, and I won't go into it obviously, but I grew up in a haunted house, and I spent a number of years of my life ghost hunting. And so I was curious after watching this. Have you ever experienced anything in the paranormal?
Oh yeah.
I'll have to ask him.
I would say so.
Detail. Let's go.
In fact, I would
Here we go. Start now.
Yeah. I would even say that this house was mildly haunted at least has some weird stuff happen. In
The
fact,
ghost is like mildly. Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
Tonight is on.
I'm gonna
sorry,
piss
go
him
ahead.
off.
You did not write that on the wall, right?
Yeah.
Mildly.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say that, because a lot of my inspirations for what I tried to do with the series so far is actually kind of stemmed from some of the experiences I've had. Probably the biggest one would be, now I could have just been hallucinating, but there's been multiple moments when I was a kid where I would be home alone, like my mom and my sister will be out to the store or something, and I'll hear the garage door open and close, and I'll hear the front door open and close, like, and then them say, "Alex, come here, like bring in groceries or something." And I'll go out and they won't be there. The car is not even there. But I swear to God, I know I heard them say it, because it's happened multiple times, and I'll pinch myself every single time. And it's just like that, along with, and my sister has had the same experience, except it was my voice. And I think that was fuel for the concept of alternates too, kind of trying to mimic things.
Way.
I think those are the scariest kinds. But probably the one big other one that my mom went through was, this is a recurring thing back when I was really young. I couldn't remember, but she would always hear extremely loud crashing noises from somewhere in the house. The biggest one being from my sister's room, which is the next room over from her bedroom. She'd be woken up by just this explosion noise, like the TV falling down and just like shattering. But then she'll go in there and then there's nothing. And I don't know. I think that the more indirect audio related, like spooky moments are the ones that are the ones that kind of affect me the most, in a way, because it's so I feel like it's more uncommon.
It's interesting. There's not a lot of people have stories like that. Well, first of all, let me start with this. When I first started jumping on some of these shows, we would talk about just some paranormal stuff, and I told the guys, I was like, when I watch something, having been through some of these things myself, if I see a certain movie or a certain TV show, or I hear someone's story, I can say to myself that, like, that guy has, this director or this artist has seen something paranormal before along those lines, because it's, whether it's in the animation of the entity, how it moves, or the noises that it makes, I can always tell. And I did get that feeling from watching the Mandela Catalogue, just so you know. But the noise thing, there was two different situations I was in. One was an investigation. One was like just a favor we're trying to do for a friend, trying to figure out what was going on. And one was almost like a crashing noise. And the crashing noise, there's also a music box that we would follow around the house, and we couldn't get to it. But the most terrifying one, and when I say this is terrifying, I mean it's terrifying. Like, it's the only time I've ever gone running out of a house. There was a scream, because a disembodied scream coming from a basement, and then we went down there, and we were looking around like, what'd you say?
Of course you did.
Of course we did. Yeah, why not? Right?
Just like the movies. Like,
first we split up. We split up into smaller groups. But we went down there, and then the scream happened like right next to us, and we like ran into each other and ran out of the house. And it's,
dang,
those noises that just happen like that, and that you can't track down or find. It's not even. It's just like a different level of paranormal. Like, you don't even know if it's ghostly or not, right? So it's almost like a different dimension, or just something just different, which obviously is by definition paranormal. But no, I'm glad I asked that question, because it's really interesting. Not a lot of people go through things like that, and that's a lot of times that's how like ghost train stories happen. Just like disembodied sounds that resemble a train or something like that. So that's interesting.
Excuse me. Man, there was something that I was going to ask, then Jordan threw me off there.
Ruined
Don't blame
everything.
Jordan. On that same note of like the sounds and stuff, I do enjoy the audio mixing, right, that you have, just like the distortions and the detail you put there. And I was like, is he just like kind of winging it and just like doing it, or like are you spending time to like get those just right? Almost like a perfection thing to like right where you like want it to be, or if they were more kind of just like mess with it here, mess with it there, and it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of time. I would say that the audio aspect is almost just as strenuous as the visual aspect, just because if the audio makes or breaks it, and especially because I try to convey like an audio uncanny valley where it's not distorted, it's not so distorted that you can tell like, oh, it's a monster and it's scary because it sounds scary. I try to make it sound like it's a person with a genuine concern, but it's just not abnormal enough where you can tell that its intentions are not genuine. It's not trying to be. It's trying to be It's just something trying to be someone else. It's trying to. It thinks it knows what humans sound like when they're in a stressful situation. In a way.
Meow.
And I
that
forget
needs to work its way into one of your episodes.
Meow. I forget which video or segment it was, but basically, I think it was a phone conversation, but like the one character's talking, it's all completely clear. There's nothing wrong with it, but like there's like a part that like just drops out and gets distorted. And I think that's like the unsettling part too, because you don't expect it. It just kind of shows up and it's like, why was that part like dropped out?
Yeah.
It's almost like earlier when like you kind of loosely gave the spoiler. It's like that part should have been bleeped out of your your alternate conversation. It's like, whoops, that might give it away. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed the audio a lot on this, and can tell you took like some care with it because it is a big part. Especially with, I mean, that's kind of like the whole analog horror thing though too, and that might be another basis of it is like get your audio set up to like freak people out. Because Local 58 has that. It has that 50s.
Yeah.
Warning. Yeah, all that. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Also, analog horror is responsible for my immense love of vaporwave music now.
Oh yeah.
Like that's all I listen to now, and have for like the last year and a half or so.
I don't know what vaporwave is, honestly.
So think of like
white noises.
No. Think of like music you would have heard walking through Kmart in like 1998, and then like slow it down, stretch it out a little bit,
throw a breakdown in there.
Yeah. Like sludge it up a little bit, and that's pretty much vaporwave.
I like how Fallout has like that 50s music like background effect. Yeah. Same kind of thing, but for 1990s Kmart.
Or like
as Alex is just checking out what that Strokes song, I'll be checking out vaporwave music.
Vaporwave.
Yeah.
Man, what's the one? Was there? It's the one series Eventide Media. Is that?
Oh,
have you seen that?
Yeah, I'm very close with the guy who made that.
Nice. I like that one. But a lot of that series is like on the Weather Channel, and vaporwave like seriously sounds like Weather Channel music, just slowed way down.
He's a musician too. Which,
is he?
Yeah, that's what he's doing. That's his main focus now.
Oh, nice. That's super cool. Yeah, I liked Eventide. That was a good story. So like, how do you know these people? Do you just happen to like, you guys all like went to the same school and are like analog horror prodigies, or like?
Oh, that would be cool. But it was all because of the main analog horror Discord that
nice,
that I met them all through in, and I remember when I was like under 50 subs maybe, and I remember joining it because someone was advertising it on Reddit. and I joined in. Like Remy Abode was there, the guy who made Gemini. I was like, no way! Like, and it was so
You
crazy
found the
because
secret club.
yeah, I knew all the secrets then. But yeah, I just remember like he was there. Like, yeah, the guy who made Eventide was there. Surreal Broadcast, all the not like the huge creators, but like the noteworthy ones were there, and I think that entire server was such an inspiration for me to want to keep going, just because I was around people that liked exactly what I like, and because of it, I was able to consume so much analog horror to where that is ultimately what helped me kind of form the story that I was trying to tell.
That's
in
awesome.
a way. Yeah.
That's why Discord rules, and everyone should be on Discord.
Yeah.
Not just our Discord. I'm just talking about in general. Like Discord is a really cool place, and we've talked about it quite a few times. Here on the pod and like in outside of the pod, just how like Discord's kind of the future of social media in our eyes. Just being able to join a community of people who enjoy the same stuff you do. It's just it's a fun place to be. Is this your mother?
Yep, that's my dog.
That's your dog?
Yeah, with the tennis ball.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
That's a cute dog. Michelle says, we had lots of crashing noises in the middle of the night here at the house. Scary when the cat hears it and gets scared too. Oh yeah.
When the cats are scared, it's time to figure things out quick.
Yeah, exactly. And when the dog starts barking at nothing, that's how you know something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Staring at the corner of the ceiling, just
You ever wonder like when you like leave, the dog's like, "Don't leave."
Yeah.
This demon just like manifests itself.
So sad.
He's like, "No, come back."
What have you done?
Then wipes their memory, and that's why they're so happy to see you. Like,
yeah, exactly. And now everyone's saying hi to your mom. So,
oh, good.
Hi from chat.
She's very popular.
Yeah. This is the best one.
Oh, great.
Excuse me. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you though, like, once you have kids, I mean, you're far off from having kids, but like, kids like seriously terrify you, man. Like our oldest is 6. She'll be 7 next month. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but like she had like like her first like truly terrifying nightmare and was like really, really, really terrified. Like most scared I've ever seen her. Like she was shaking, like bawling hysterically. And when she woke up, she like thought the house was upside down, which just it's so freaky. Like to say this, but like I don't know. Like at first, like she kept like thinking the house was upside down, and then she did the kid thing where she was like, "Oh, this is getting a reaction from my parents. So now anytime I don't want to do something, like I'm gonna say the house is upside down." But the first few times, like especially the first time, like it still gives me goosebumps because like I've never seen her like that before, and she was truly terrified, and it like freaked me out. But like just hearing your kid be like, "The house is upside down," and I'm like, "No, what is going on?"
Slipped into a different reality.
All of a sudden became like Stranger Things at Mike's household. But no, dude, it was like, still thinking about it like makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Ugh.
She's been watching too much analog horror, probably.
Yeah,
you got on your YouTube and was just like, "What is going on?"
Yeah,
vaporwave and analog horror.
Yeah. Man, I just love that your mom supports you so much and is hanging out in chat watching you.
Just talking to the people.
Yeah. It's a nice lady. Man. Yeah.
When your mom joined Discord, I think Nick sent. Was it you, Nick, that sent a text? This is the most wholesome thing.
Oh no, that was me.
Okay.
Well, at first, like I didn't know, because people are weird on the internet, so I didn't know if it was like somebody being weird and being like, "Oh, I'm Alex's mom," and then
that's
could have been.
I was like, "Yeah, you never know." But then like I was like, "Oh no, that's actually his mom. That's so adorable."
Yeah, when I read that text, I was like zooming in on the image, like trying to figure out like what the hell is he talking about? And I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is so cool. Actually when I jumped in, I said hello to everybody.
Yeah. So just so you know, Alex, you weren't cool enough for Jordan to get in Discord, but
I didn't know till then. Actually, no, I did know because Nick was making fun of Mike for something, and
usually Mike gets all the intros, and then I was like, Mike, how sad are you that I got to greet Alex first into our server? But then he got to greet your mom, so I guess it all kind of played out.
It works out.
That sounds so weird.
Like a mom joke.
Exactly.
So
yeah. And that goes back to like the weird thing about Discord servers, though, is like there is a weird space where it's like vetting the people that just kind of show up, and it's like, are you really who you claim to be? Alternate, like
Exactly.
Now everything is just considered an alternate that I am not knowledgeable on. But I did want to ask, now that you've seen success here with the Mandela Catalogue, do you see yourself continuing on as like a story writer, content creator, doing, more series, or, who knows, like maybe way down the road, like throwing a movie together, writing a screenplay, or I don't know. Is this like what your future looks like now, or something you want to continue to pursue?
I think so. I think I've been extremely lucky with where I've ended up now. This is all just out of nowhere. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have been able to leave college to pursue this. But I mean, I'm absolutely going to be focusing on this quite a bit, and I've been offered a I've been made an offer that I really wish I could say what it is, but it's very, very good, and it will definitely make my future. I think I wish I could say what it is, but I can't. That's literally all I can say. But
that's very exciting.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Good for you.
Yeah,
and when we hear about it, we'll know that this was we'll figure it out.
You'll know
that
when
was
it
the
happens.
other offer.
Yeah.
That's
super cool, man. Do you have like a time frame of when you might be able to like say what it is? Because now the anticipation is killing me.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know how the system works, but if I can say it, it'll probably be around a year from now. Or less, maybe. I just don't know how it works for this specific kind of industry, but that's all I can say.
Well, hopefully I'll still be around a year from now in my old age. Me and Jordan, we may be holding on for dear life, but
people are wondering how old we actually are now, I think.
I'm 34, which basically might as well be dead.
Obviously.
I'm only 35, but my left shoulder hurts really bad right now.
Yeah, honestly, when I stretched like this earlier in the episode and like had to fight back screaming because my shoulder actually did hurt. I was like, I'm falling apart.
Talking about like that, like what a spinning conversation. Alex is like, I have this amazing offer, my whole life's gonna be made. I'm like, yeah, my shoulder's just been hurting so bad.
Yeah. Transition.
Yep. That's
Mike's
what we
like
do
looking
here,
for pointers and how to stretch.
Yeah, man, that makes me really excited. I'm really anxious to hear about this now.
That's cool, Alex. I just based on what you said, I actually would I have a guess in what industry it could be, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
No guesses allowed.
Well, we've been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it's been a blast.
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep you here all night. You know, I don't want to hold you hostage. So yeah, you guys have any last questions or remarks for Alex here?
It's like a
Before we
threat.
wrap
Any
up?
last words?
Yeah, any last-
Yeah.
No, I'm
yeah,
just
good.
ready for the movie. You know.
yeah,
just let us know.
exactly. If you got like,
You.
if you could make this into like a movie,
It's like,
like, okay, here's my last question. Like, who would you cast as your cast if you were making this as like an actual movie or series?
Oh.
Big budget.
Yeah.
All the CGI.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be weird.
A de-aged. No.
That's the
De-aged
big
Mike.
thing these days.
Uh-huh.
I want to say I would if you're basing Mark off yourself, I would cast Jesse Plemons as Mark.
I want to know who that is. I'm
yeah,
not familiar with
I don't know
actors.
either.
Dang, Mike, really kind of digging deep there.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's a
I
pretty
can
good.
see it,
Really.
and he's a great actor.
He's about my height.
Yeah, I could totally tell. For sure.
I must have the wrong person here.
Oh man. But yeah, anyways, thanks so much for coming on, Alex. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I enjoyed this a lot. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a really good time.
This is the second time that I randomly reached out to a YouTuber that I really enjoy and was blessed with a reply. But yeah, it made my day when you replied on Twitter about coming on, and I've been so looking forward to this ever since. So thank you for that.
Oh my lord.
Alex's mom, please adopt us. I mean, if you got room, sure.
There's 3,000 of us.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
That's what happened to them. They're all
no,
Alex's.
spoilers.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was really cool to get to hear some of your inspirations and creative process and all that stuff. Get to know you a little bit. Thank you all for chiming in here in the comments. Really appreciate that, and thank you to all of the people who have joined our Discord over the last couple days, and your replies in the Answer the Boys channel there in Discord. Every week for each episode, we post our topic of the week and the Answer the Boys question and ask for your thoughts, opinions, and questions. So that's kind of where those questions from Discord came from. But as we end here, just want to say, if you like what you heard, please consider subscribing here. We have Alex's YouTube channel, his Patreon, and I believe Discord channel links in our episode description. So go subscribe and follow and check out his Patreon. You can join our Discord, check out our Patreon and our merch shop and all that stuff at linktr.ee/showboyspodcast. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. We have a fun, well, I shouldn't say we, because I'm going to be the only one in this screen that is on the episode next week, but we'll be diving deep into Pokemon Legends Arceus with a couple fun guests and fellow huge Poke fanatics. So that'll be really fun. But yeah, as we leave here, hope you enjoy our theme song, and we'll see you next week, hopefully. Have a great night, everyone. You know, I feel so awkward, like whenever we would talk about Alex's mom, but like she seems like such a cool person, but like that's weird to talk about someone else's mom. I don't know. But yeah, bye.